The most common question that I get asked is, should I get the new MacBook Pro or should I wait until the next release? This is a tricky question because it all really depends on what you're going to use it for, but I'm going to give you my perspective to help you make that decision. Let's begin. Hello, my name is Tom, and if this is your first time to this channel, don't forget to do a hashtag new sub so I can properly welcome you. Speaking of, we just hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. Couldn't have done it without you. Seriously. Now, if you like my videos, it would really help me out if you can smash that like button. You see, I'm competing with insanely talented tech YouTubers, and I just can't do this without your help. So it would mean a lot to me if you can just smash that button. Okay, with that out of the way, let's party. It sounds so stupid. Okay, so the short version is basically this. All MacBooks that are out right now are good enough for whatever purpose you're gonna use it for, okay? So I recommend all of them. Now, if you're wondering if you wanna get the 13-inch, the 16-inch, or the MacBook Air, I have a video for that in the video description. Check it out if you haven't seen it before. But basically what I'm saying is all MacBooks are good enough to purchase regardless of what improvements are coming. Now, if you're getting a MacBook because of the prestige, you know, because of the premium quality of it, and you wanna pay top dollar to let everyone around you and yourself know that you have a premium laptop, then I seriously think that you should get the MacBook right now, because the quality and the design is probably not going to change in the next release of it. So go ahead and purchase it right away. Oh, and by the way, I'm not bashing on people who do that. I think buying premium stuff is really something that we do all the time. You know, we buy premium food, we buy premium cars, premium smartphones, even when we know that we don't actually need it. So bashing people who buy expensive MacBooks, I think that's really unfair. Now, some people will argue that you're overpaying for MacBooks, but that's a topic for a different video altogether. But here's the thing about buying a Mac. Most of us work hard for our money, and we deserve to spend our money on whatever objects we desire. And if we want to pay a little extra for that premium quality, feel, and build, then yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Most people buy premium stuff all the time. Why not computers? Okay, so the thing about MacBooks is that they're really expensive. Everybody knows it. I know it, you know it. And this causes us to think in a way that when we buy a MacBook, we have to make sure that we make a really good purchase and we get all the necessary upgrades so we don't make a bad purchasing decision. And this is smart thinking, it makes sense, but in a way, it kind of clouds our judgment. But tell you what, I'll get back to that in a moment. When it comes to that decision about buying a MacBook, it really depends on what you're going to use your MacBook for. So getting a faster CPU, faster GPU, more RAM, it's not necessarily going to make your experience more immersive in any way. It's not going to make your YouTube videos play faster, nor would you want them to. It's not going to help you Google things faster. It's not going to help you write things faster. When we're talking editing 4K videos, now we need to talk about specs. And let's face it, there is a good possibility that next year's version of the MacBooks will have faster CPU performance. And in some cases, with software optimization, it might even make your exporting times much faster. Now, is this important to you? Maybe. Only you can really answer that. Personally, as far as my editing is concerned, as long as the editing part is fluid, I'm fine. And as I've said many times before, the beauty of Final Cut Pro 10 is that you can set in proxy mode, which will make the editing experience fluid on basically any MacBook out there. Okay, the MacBooks have basically been flawed in the last couple of years. First, we need to talk about the Magic Keyboard, which has solved a lot of issues. We no longer have the problem with the butterfly keyboard, and we got that fixed on all models. We got that fixed on the MacBook Pro, the MacBook Air, and the MacBook Pro 16-inch, so it's all good. We've also had a little issues when it comes to CPU performance due to inadequate cooling performance. That has not exactly been fixed, but it has been vastly improved. Now, there's a lot of people out there who have heard a lot of things about the MacBook Pro 16-inch, that it gets too hot, stuff like that. Here's the truth. All laptops get hot, and the MacBooks get extra hot because of the material. This is aluminum. Aluminum leads heat. It's gonna get hot. Personally, I don't have any issues with it. I can type without any problems. My palms don't get hot. Sometimes I'll put my MacBook on my laps. I don't have a problem with it getting a bit hotter. I've got a lot more issues when my smartphone gets hot, but my MacBook, not a big problem. So basically, almost everything has been fixed. If there's one thing that I could wish for, and Apple, if you're watching, pay attention. We need the card reader back. Now, most people have really good purchasing instincts. From an evolutionary standpoint, we are basically trained to make good survival decisions. Companies know about this. That's why they keep improving technology all the time. And when it comes to technology, I think you've noticed that everything just gets twice as fast every single year. It's starting to get to the point where I don't even care anymore. Seriously, I don't care if the next iPhone is twice as fast, if the next MacBook Pro is twice as fast, because to be completely honest, my MacBook Pro 13-inch got the job done. Sure, there was a little bit of waiting from time to time, but it got the job done. And that is the point of this video. You need to make a purchasing decision based on what you want that MacBook Pro to do for you. Because here's the truth. Whether you buy a new MacBook today or wait for the next release, it's gonna be considered junk, obsolete in 2 years from now. Both of them. But here's the kicker. People are wrong. And I'm not bashing anyone. I consider myself a tech enthusiast. I read about all the advancements. But the thing is, most of the time, as impressed I am with the specs of upcoming MacBooks and iPhones, it's not really gonna change that much for me personally, because I keep forgetting that the MacBook is not the end goal. The MacBook is used to get to the end goal, whatever that is. If it's browsing the web, if it's editing videos, if it's coding, writing scripts, writing books, whatever, the MacBook is just a tool. And it's what you use that tool for that is the purpose that you should focus on. I get the love for MacBooks, I really do. But let's face it, at the end of the day, the MacBook is just an advanced hammer that helps you build something. You don't need the latest technology to create. You don't need a new MacBook to be a writer. For example, I wrote the script for this video on my iPhone on the bus. Now, finally, a lot of people will talk about getting a MacBook that will last for a lot of years. Now, the good thing about MacBooks is that they really do last a long time. My old MacBook Pro 13-inch from late 2013 has served me well for 7 years. Think about it, 7 years, that is a really long time. But when I bought it, it was like the base model, you know what I mean? And it still got the job done. Now this MacBook Pro 16-inch in front of me is crazy, like it's super fast. It's complete overkill nonsense. It's only when I edit videos that I can really feel that performance, but when I'm browsing the web or watching YouTube videos, honestly, I could have bought any MacBook or any laptop for that matter, and it would work just fine. Well, maybe not every laptop, but every MacBook, definitely. Okay, the bottom line is basically this. You are in a purchasing mode. You need to get out of that mode and you need to focus on what's important. The end goal here is not to get a good MacBook. The end goal here is what you're gonna use that MacBook for. So, don't overthink it. You look at your budget right now, you think to yourself, what do you need to get the job done? And you get that now. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, if you feel like it helped you in any way, it would really help me out if you can just smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It helps more than you know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Love you guys. See you in the next one. Take care. Oh, you're still here. Of course you are. It's the behind the scenes of this video. For those of you who are new, what I do is like at the end of every video, I have like this personal little vlog stuff, you know, because most people are probably not interested in this stuff. So I spare them of that and they get to enjoy the main part of the video without this vlogging nonsense, okay? But if you're still here, if you're still interested what's happening in my life, we're gonna get right into it. So let's begin. Okay, so first of all, I wanna mention a little sad thing. It's not a big deal. Don't worry, it's not gonna ruin your day or anything. I wanted to tell you a little story. It's a quick little story. Just bear with me for a moment. So a couple of years ago, I used to suffer from depression. Yeah. Truly, you wouldn't think of it looking at me right now, but it was pretty bad for a while. And today, like, I have zero depression, like fully cured. Maybe someday I'll make a video about how I got out of depression. That's not the point of this story. The point is that when you're feeling depressed, you feel very isolated. You can't relate to people. You feel like this parasite. And I started reading this book, Prozac Nation, by this writer called Elizabeth Wurtzel, a really brilliant writer. And when you read a self-biography by someone who is experiencing the same things as you are, you feel a connection, you know? Last year, I actually followed her on Instagram, and I thanked her, you know, for giving me hope and stuff like that. And it was really cool. And she actually replied to me a couple of times. I actually offered to help her to start a YouTube channel. And we kind of, you know, chatted away at it a bit. And then she just stopped posting. She didn't post that much, but sometimes she posted pictures of her and her dog. And she just stopped one day. And this is normal. I do this from time to time. I just stopped being active on social media. And then yesterday, I was looking at her account and she still hadn't posted anything. So I Googled her name and I found out that she had passed away like a couple of months ago. And it just, you know, it was like a dagger in the heart. That's not what happened to her. It just felt that way. And I was just really, really sad. And I still think about it. Like, you know, it's like when someone you admire passes, it just really hurts. Even if you haven't actually met the person, it's just really sad. I don't know. I just felt it was a shame. She got to be 52 years old, but I think that the legacy that she left after her is amazing. Now, let's move on to happier news. Okay, so as most of you heard, I've been having some issues with my weight. I'm basically a fatty. So it sounds so horrible when you say it out loud. But yeah, I have some weight issues. So I'm still working with the LifeSum app where I'm putting in all the foods that I'm eating, and this smartphone also registers, you know, how many steps I take. And for this week, I've almost taken 10,000 steps every single day. And like, I've never crossed over 2,000 kilocalories. I don't know how to pronounce it. Like, I'm not an expert in food and stuff like that, but it's been going really great. Like, every time I have a meal, I put in the data into my LifeSum app and I know if I've overeaten or not. It's actually very interesting, and I thought that this would be a hassle and just annoying to do, but it actually helps me because most of the time when I don't know what I'm digesting or what it's doing to my body, I sort of feel guilty about every single meal that I eat because I have no idea of knowing if I eaten too much or not. But this app actually helps me to just not think about it. I just put in the data and all I have to do is just, you know, make sure that I don't eat too much. And if I really don't have many calories left at the end of the day, I just go for a long walk and I get a lot of calories that I can eat. So it's really wonderful. Have you seen the new trailer for Bill and Ted Face the Music? Wow. I have such mixed feelings about that trailer. Like, I grew up in the 90s and I watched all the Bill and Ted films. I think it's like 2. They were really cool at the time. I recently rewatched one of those movies. It was kind of like, yeah, I must have been really young if I felt that this movie was good. But I don't know, it's a bit nostalgic. Anyway, they made a sequel, like 30 years later, Bill and Ted Face the Music. And you see Keanu Reeves looking like his older self. I mean, he's what? He's like around 50 years old. And he's doing that voice, you know, that surfer voice that he uses in the old movies. And it just sounds and looks weird. It doesn't match somehow. Like, I've watched Keanu Reeves movies for the last 30 years and he usually never uses that surfer voice, and suddenly he used it again in the trailer and I was like, whoa, that just doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely gonna see it. God, I miss my childhood sometimes. I don't know. It's not so much that I enjoyed being a child. I enjoyed the freedom. You know, you didn't have to worry about bills and stuff. You didn't have to worry about making sure that you get up, making sure that you are on the bus, making sure that you know, do all the things that grown-ups have to worry about. I kind of like that when you can just focus on playing, you know? I really, really miss that. I wish my life was a little more like that sometimes. I mean, let's face it, grown-ups are boring, you know what I mean? So I think we can learn a lot from kids. Kids are so good at just living in the moment. And me, I'm always like thinking about, you know, what happened an hour ago, yesterday, and what's going to happen in the future. My head is always, you know, planning and stuff like that, and over analyzing stuff that happened in the past. When I was a kid, there was never any of that. You just played with what you had at the moment. Like if you had Lego in front of you or toys, you just played with that. I kind of miss that. Don't you? Like, I don't know. Also, the seagulls. What's going on with the seagulls? Well, basically, they still hate me. At the place where I work, they're still buzzing the building, like they're flying around, just pooping all over cars. I can swear that I saw a seagull aim at a particularly nice car and just, you know, pooped on it. I could swear that he was, you know, targeting that beautiful car. He didn't pick the old Volvo or the old Toyota. No, he went for the Benz. You know what I mean? He went for the Benz, and I don't know, just made me a bit suspicious of their nature. And then I also saw other people being attacked by these seagulls. So I have to I found this route that I have to go to avoid any seagulls, but I'm walking there with my umbrella. It's a little safety thing that I have. I'm thinking if I see a seagull, I'll just fold it open and maybe scared or something. It's ridiculous. That's what it is. Seagulls are ridiculous. I'm sorry, you know, but they need to go. All right, that's all I have for today. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.